Hey, I'm Scotty T from Your Comedy Minute. I have a wonderful comedian named Bob Grundfest with me today. Bob, I think first off, I'm supposed to say hi, Bob.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
I feel like a woodpecker in a lumber yard.
Oh, wow. You're ready to go then.
You're here, buddy. I'm ready. I'm wound up turning a dime store watch.
That's wonderful.
I'm happy to have you here.
It's great to be here. Thank you for
You
having me.
have you have a lot of we've got a lot of stuff to cover, so let's get right to it.
Okay.
First off, you're in New Jersey.
I am.
Okay, were you born and raised in New Jersey?
I was born in New York,
Okay.
and uh, then we moved to New Jersey when I was 3. So I guess I was really raised in New Jersey.
I've been in every part of New Jersey and I love it.
It's a wonderful state.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot to do there and a lot of fun. And depending on where you're at, you can get yourself into some trouble.
Oh, you can. You can smell things that you've never smelled before, and you can you can go down the turnpike past the Hostess bakery and smell stuff that you think, boy, I hope that doesn't go into little white squiggles on the top of the cupcakes there.
When did you start doing comedy, Bob?
I actually did comedy a while ago in the 80s when
Right.
I got out of college.
All right.
During the comedy boom
Yeah.
of the baby boom.
And I
So
guess
that was fun doing stuff in
okay,
New
well,
York.
the catalyst the follow-up question is always, was there a catalyst back then? Was there something that said, Bob, go do comedy?
Not really. I think well, I think the catalyst was when I was in
I thought
first
I was
grade,
funny. I thought I was
kindergarten.
funny, Scott. You stupid ass.
Right. I mean, I'm not, well, I was never the class clown. I mean,
I
I could,
was. I
oh,
was.
okay, good.
Yeah.
And so it comes in different flavors, but I got the performance bug and then
Okay.
making people laugh, um, even getting in trouble while doing it, as I'm sure you can,
Yeah. Oh yeah. I had 44
right?
nights. I had 44 nights detention my senior year.
Oh, yeah.
In school
Anybody ever ask
suspension,
you and say,
out of school suspension. My dad wouldn't even come to the school anymore.
that's, well, that's it. I mean, as long as you got
I have to
rehearsal
do
time,
that just because I like wrapping it up. This is true too. All that's true.
right?
My dad used to say when I'd come home after being suspended or whatever, he'd say, "You know, boy, you might as well stay in trouble because you sure as hell can't keep out of it."
There it is, right?
That was the truth.
Permission to joke.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
So yeah, so I did all that, and I did a lot of plays, and I don't know. I guess I've always been funny, or at least thought I was maybe funnier than other people did. Um, but then I found a friend in college who was also interested in doing comedy, so we kind of teamed up, and that's when we really started thinking about doing things
okay.
professionally.
Okay.
So
Do
so
you
we did all that. We did all the comic strip and Catch a Rising Star and the improv and tours
oh,
around the area, and
cool.
the East, the South. Got to work with Robin Williams. He would
Did you
come by
really?
when he was filming Moscow on the Hudson, I
Okay.
believe. Um, he would come by the comic strip because on Monday nights at midnight we had an improv group.
Okay.
So he would come by, and we got an once it got word got out that he was going to be around for a while. We got full crowds Monday night at midnight. Imagine that.
Yeah.
And there were about 7 or 8 of us who were in the group, and he was terrific. He played along. He was always on, and he was very supportive. Very, you don't necessarily see that with people who are celebrities or who've made it, but when you have to work with them, they can't do everything.
Yeah.
So he helped us. He threw us lines, but otherwise, it was just a wonderful experience. So so that was fun, and
That's amazing, Bob.
yeah, that was nice. And
Honest to
the
God, that's
owner,
amazing. See, I had no idea. That's the thing is we've never met for people just
right?
looking in. We've never met. This just came about yesterday. A mutual friend of ours, Steve Goldberg, who I just admire the heck out of, not as a
Oh,
comedian,
Steve's
but as a
great.
person. And Steve and I have become very close. He did one of these, and he's, just been, I just love him. And I
Hmm.
said something to him about, look, if you know comedians, and I think Bruce Lipsky came from there, and then Bruce Lipsky gave
Yeah,
me,
I know Bruce.
just other comedians. So this just came about, but I had no idea.
Right.
I have some questions down the road because is your family involved? Was your other family members involved in comedy?
Um, yes, but not as connected as you might think. There's a guy named Bill Grundfest
Okay, yeah, I didn't
who,
know that. And there's another about the one that did it many, many years ago. Is that relation to you as well?
well, how far many? I mean, he was in the 80s and 90s. He was
Okay.
one of the people who owned or ran the Comedy Cellar
Okay. All right. All
when
right.
it first started, and then I guess his I think his biggest known show was Mad About You
Oh
with
wow, I
Paul
love that
Reiser.
show. I used to love
Yeah,
that show.
yeah. So he went to California and did that, and so
Who was in that? Was it
we are in fact third cousins, but
okay?
we're not connected.
Okay. No, I'm just curious because obviously it's a unique last name. And
Right,
when I started, I found these other ones in Comedy Cellar. I said, huh, I wonder if that's his brother or dad or whatever it was.
right. Well, the funny thing was, this was around the time when I was starting, when me and my partner Mike Carrington were starting, and so when I we went to the club and I introduced myself, and he went, "Oh, no shit," and then he introduced himself, and I said, "Oh, okay." But the thing was, I could call up that club and talk to him anytime I wanted because I
Okay.
would just say, "Oh yeah, it's Bob Grunfeld." Oh yeah, hold on, yeah, we'll get him.
Oh, cool.
So it didn't help me, trust me,
No, no, and I didn't
but
mean to
it was
imply. I
good.
didn't
Yeah,
mean to imply that. I just wanted, because
right,
that's a question I have written down here. Besides doing stand-up comedy, and I'm moving forward from the '80s to now,
right.
where you're not only doing stand-up, but you also book comedy shows there in New Jersey. Is that correct?
Yes, I have a business partner who's another
You can
comic,
you can
and
mention him. You can mention him. Go ahead.
yeah, Steve Schwartz,
Okay, Steve
who also does
Schwartz.
comedy, and he's also very funny. But when I came back to comedy about 6 7 years ago, we kind of met, and he was booking shows, but and asked me if I wanted to get involved in some of that. So the two of us book basically two rooms. The big one is Willie McBride's in
Okay.
Branchburg, and we try to do as close to a monthly show as we can, if not every other
Okay.
month. And that's got a great room, just a terrific comedy room downstairs, low ceiling, it's dark. It's got an
Okay.
attitude, like a
Okay.
stage about that big. And
Okay.
then there's another a restaurant in Somerville, New Jersey,
I know
called the
Somerville.
Venetian,
Okay.
and we do that. So we have a show coming up this Saturday at the
Okay.
Venetian with Steve Goldberg
Okay.
and
Yeah.
Paul Field, No Filter Paul. If you know No Filter
Well, this
Paul,
this probably won't air before that, but for time
right?
travelers, they can go back in time and watch.
Right. You can, but anyway, we certainly will have shows going
Yeah,
forward
yeah, coming
at the
forward. And
Venetian
I'll what I'll
and
do, Bob, is I will put all the links to. I
okay,
believe you have Instagram.
right,
I know you have Facebook. If you have a YouTube channel, anything that you want me to put links to, I will to
okay,
help out. That's my nature.
terrific.
That's
Thank
what
you.
your comedy minute's all about. I was just wondering though, because and if you didn't realize, you said you watched I'm an idiot. I'll be honest. I'm an idiot, and I laugh at the wrong stuff. But have you booked? In other words, is there a story or two from the time you've been booking where that was bad? We shouldn't have booked him or her.
Um,
I'm just guessing. I would think maybe the screening or the vetting process is better than what I'm imagining.
well, we one of the things is we try not to really overpromise. In other words, a lot of what we do is to give some of these younger comics
Right,
who we've come in contact with an opportunity in front of a an audience, and we've been
right.
able to sell out or close in both of those places over the last year since we've been doing this,
Okay.
and also to pay them. I mean, I think that's important too. Is there are
Sure.
plenty of
Sure.
places, and I don't want to, I mean, people. It's the economics of it, but what we want to make sure that we do is if we charge an admission, that we pay comics.
Yeah, they get a portion
That's
of the door.
important. I mean, we've all done free shows, and sometimes you need to do free shows to get in front of the right people. So, with that in mind, sometimes we put people up, and maybe they were terrific. They had a good run, but they might have had a bad night. But
Okay.
I think we've been pretty good and pretty consistent with getting comics
Yeah.
who are getting laughs,
Okay.
and
Good.
that's
Good.
really what I can ask.
I won't beat it up. We'll move on.
Yeah.
Uh, Teacher for many years.
Yes. 5 shows a day.
The teacher for 5 shows. Well, and that just you answered what I was because I believe it or not, I had another teacher on, and
Okay.
she said that she's still a teacher and she teaches young kids,
Right.
and she gets material. And I'll just give you an example because I will never forget it. She said a little girl ran up to her and said, "Oh, whenever Billy comes around, I vibrate." And she had to
Oh
sit
yeah.
there and say, "Okay, honey, I don't know if vibrate's the word you want to use."
That's right. Yeah. No, students are a terrific source of information, inspiration, indignation, whatever it is.
Any of
And
those Asians.
we uh, I was remembering a story that I've since incorporated into what I do, and
It's
it's a
okay.
true
Do
story.
this is you do whatever you want, my friend. This is your
Right.
comedy minute, man.
She came up to me with her Chromebook, right? Every student, they all get a computer, right? She looks at me very earnestly and says, "Look at my keyboard. The F key is missing." And I looked at her and I said, "Uck,
That's good.
now what are you gonna do?" And I did say that, like, truth in comedy law.
That's really funny.
I'll tell you, shoo, went right over
Are
her
you
head.
serious?
It
How old
What's
was she? How old,
17?
how old was the girl?
17 years old, high school junior.
No shit.
Just
I almost
uh
said shit.
yeah, those are the ones you hope. I hope she doesn't go home and tell her parents. But anyway, I thought it was
That's wild.
funny.
Uh, I have written down here you did an episode of The Lighter Side of Finance.
Yes, one of the first.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun because uh, we had we were given financial information, and there were two goals: one, to make it interesting, and two, to make it funny.
Yeah, I
Um,
watched it. I watched it.
and
What? No, I mean, I watched
yeah.
yours. What do you want me to
Oh,
say?
okay. Yeah,
I
it
watched
was
yours. I didn't
it was
understand a
good.
bit of it. I just told you I'm dumb as a bucket of rocks. I thought it was funny, though. I laughed
Oh, good. I'm glad. Well, that's
because
really
I
the point. You
thought that
want
was the
people.
idea.
Yeah, right. Because the person who was running it was into financial literacy and financial education, and he just wanted
Right,
people
right.
to.
But it was
So if you're
trying to,
laughing about it, maybe you go, "Hey, maybe I can
yeah.
I can get this." Yeah. So yeah, that was a lot of fun. I think I was number four. I think I was the fourth
I,
person.
I, I don't know. My crack
Then
staff
it
puts this together. I don't know.
then it really took off. No, it was fun. I had a good time.
Yeah, okay. I also have written down voiceover artist.
Yes,
I have a
I have
friend of mine. A
done.
friend of mine does commercials and stuff. I have another. I had a guy on that used to be in radio,
Right.
does voiceover work, and I have a friend that does voiceovers for 30, 40 of the radio stations.
Right. Most of the work that I did was in audiobooks.
He did
So
too.
more
He
the
did
more the
too.
long form. I mean, I've done commercials. Yeah, one of the things that I did early on was recording messages for when people are on hold.
Oh, okay.
Once people all of a sudden were now on hold for minutes or hours at a time, because that didn't necessarily happen. Usually, you were just cut off and the call ended, but now you're on hold. So I did a lot of on hold things for
Go ahead if you
bakeries and
don't mind.
transits
Go
and
ahead and
things like
do
that.
good 30 seconds. Can you do
That
it?
was the of one of those things. Um, oh, there was a bakery where they were uh, yeah, the next time next time you have a special event, call us about three-tiered cakes. So I'm doing stuff on three-tiered cakes, right? Then
He
you have to
gave you
get those words
he
out.
gave you a
Three
whole
tiered cake,
script.
right?
Okay.
So so that was fun, and then I did some early computer games, but most of it
Okay.
was audiobooks.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that
I
was
hate to keep going, but somebody told me they're in a hurry, so I want to try and get through this.
no, I'm here all day, right?
If you haven't figured it out, Bob, I'm just an idiot. I told you up front, you should have known. You're a baseball fan.
Baseball, yeah, I do.
Well,
I love
I think what I saw was fanatic, but I just went with fan.
fan. Yes, I mean
Are
I'm
you
a
no? And be all right. I'll be serious for a minute or two. Are you a baseball fanatic, a baseball fan?
I love baseball. Yes, I love
Okay,
playing
Jesus,
baseball. I love
what the
watching.
hell am I doing wrong? Are you understanding the words that are coming
Yes,
out of my mouth? Why are you
am I?
saying baseball
Well,
fan?
I detect Philadelphia coming out of your mouth is what I
Oh
detect.
no, 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 no! Don't even try it because it's probably worse for
Oh yeah,
you. I'm a
no,
Baltimore
yeah,
Orioles. And just so you know, I'm an Orioles fan,
Orioles, right,
and my dad used to take us to Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. And when the Orioles had 420 game winners, and
right.
Big Pal, Brooks Robinson, Frank Robinson, Paul Blair, I can name. I mean, I love baseball,
Sure, I
and
saw
just to
those teams.
put a little whip topping on that, I saw Johnny Unitas and Joe Namath play a football game at that stadium.
That's right. That's right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I remember those.
and I
Actually,
thought
funny.
you might.
My son is a big time Mets fan. So we went to see the Mets and the Orioles last month, and there were thousands of people who talk like you. So hey, Baltimore,
How do I talk?
let's go.
Let's go. Hey, hon, you going down the ocean for partner 3 or 4 hours, ain't you?
Baltimore, right? You get some pit beef.
Balmer. How did we get so far off? So your son's a Mets fan. What team are you? I'm guessing Yankees.
No, no, I'm a Mets fan too. I mean, I'll root.
Okay.
We'll go to Yankees games, and we're
Okay.
not exclusionary. And in New York, you have to you're forced to choose. But no,
Okay.
we're
What was
Mets.
the Mets? It was what was it? 69.
Yeah,
Tom
that was better.
Seaver,
And '69 was the first one, right?
the
The big
Miracle
miracle.
Mets.
Then
And you
'86
want to tell the people who they beat?
they beat the Baltimore Orioles, and
Hang
they
on.
weren't supposed to.
Hang
They
on.
weren't supposed
Let
to
me just get this down. Let me see if this is. I'm
in
sorry.
5 games, and all
Uck.
the games were during the
Uck.
day.
Uck.
Oh,
We'll do
right.
without that F key. Uck.
All the games were during the day too.
Yeah, you're right
Right.
because I was in
Everybody
school.
had a
Yeah,
transistor up to their
exactly.
ear.
You're exactly right. I
Right.
remember riding home on the bus just starting to cry. um, so if you want to elaborate on the baseball fanatic thing, you did a podcast or something I saw on YouTube.
Yeah, that was interesting. A guy up in Boston um,
Yeah,
advertised that he was looking for people to kind of I don't know, was it an audition or something? He was just looking for people to be on there and to who love baseball. So we
yeah,
spent I don't know, we spent about 45 minutes together talking about baseball, baseball now, baseball then.
yeah,
I mean, he's a big time Red Sox fan, so
yeah.
we did a little razzing back and forth,
Okay.
and we threw some balls under his legs, but
What? I, I,
The Red Sox
I,
lost the World Series in '86 to the Mets because the
oh,
ball went
okay.
in
I
Bill
no, my
Buckner's
mind,
leg.
my mind went somewhere else. My mind
That's
went.
all right.
I,
Well, you could do that too.
I
Balls under.
didn't know what you. I don't know what went on in that little podcast. I don't know what the hell you guys are doing over there. Let's get back to comedy for a minute or two. I won't keep you much longer.
Yes, sir.
A
No.
favorite show that you've done out of all the years? Obviously, that stuff with Robin Williams. You can mention any of your favorite shows you've done, and then, of course, the follow-up question. You're laughing
Right.
because right? Go ahead and do your
Yeah.
favorite shows. Get those out of the way.
I actually 2 weeks ago, no, August.
Close
I
enough.
think I did one of the better shows I've ever done before.
Okay.
I have the recording to prove it. It just all came together with
Good.
I mean after a few years it's all going to come together, right?
No,
You
no,
hope.
no. Hey,
That's
you
right.
never know.
So that was a great one. Um One of the other shows was way back when NBC was doing a show on the new comedy boom, and we happened to be right in the middle of that one.
Were you on it?
Yeah,
Oh,
we were on.
cool.
They didn't do any interviewing, but they gave us a little extended. I mean, we were doing sketches, so it wasn't
Okay.
just
All right. All right.
joke. So they gave us
That's cool. That's
a heads
cool.
up for that. Do I have a recording of that? Not at all, because
Yeah, these
I don't
days though,
know.
you might be able to do some research. Maybe we'll try and find it
Right. Well,
on
maybe.
on
I don't know.
YouTube or something. Maybe you search the show. Do you remember the name of the
Oh
show?
no, I searched. I even got in touch with NBC, and they didn't seem to have it.
Wow.
Although they did unearth something that my father was on. So this is kind of I mean, we knew he was on it, but it wasn't a comedy show.
Yeah, you
But they
mentioned your
didn't have
father.
that one.
Your father, I think, is what I saw. Your father had a reputation, didn't he? I mean, as far as I saw a thing with him and Jeff, or I think it was your father, maybe Jeffrey Ross and different people. Is that correct or no?
No, not it wasn't that he's been on TV before,
Okay.
but
All right.
not for comedy. I mean, it was more
I
for
just
news.
didn't know there was so many damn Grundfests. Holy hell, how many of them are there? Jesus God.
Yeah, you wouldn't think. I mean,
Yeah.
there
Anyway.
was one of them worked in the Reagan administration, but that's hardly funny. That's not funny at all.
No, no, no. A least favorite show.
Least favorite show. Oh, we did a show at a diner in Eatontown, New Jersey, at
Okay.
the confluence of routes 35 and 36. And we did this bit on the Doppler effect, like
Okay.
when cars go, that kind of
Yeah.
thing. And things were not going well at all for me and my partner. And we do this Doppler effect thing, and crickets, like not even crickets. I mean, the audience just didn't pick it up. But outside, a truck came by and did a perfect downshifting Doppler outside, and we started laughing. And then
Okay.
the audience was, okay, why do you think you're so funny? We didn't get it. So I remember that because we just basically said, okay, this is now a paid rehearsal. So
Yeah.
that's what it came down to.
Well, I just want to go back to a second because
Yeah.
you mentioned your favorite show, and he said 2 weeks ago,
Well,
and
August, right. So it's
yeah,
about a month.
and I think that's really cool because um, just I think a lot of it is that because I've had enough of these comedians, have done enough where everything just seems to hit right.
Yeah.
The audience is laughing, and you're on top of it, and your timing is perfect, and there's so much goes into it. And I don't think people realize that.
Yeah, it is. And when you've been doing this for a while, you wonder why that happens. I mean, there are good crowds, and there are
Right.
people who laugh at the setup, and there are people who there are jokes that you have that work very well, and they
Yeah.
get the little laugh, and then the jokes that don't get the big laughs get virtually nothing.
Yeah.
But when it all comes together, I will tell you that that joke
Yeah.
that was one of those rolling. 25-second.
That's a great one. And
Yeah.
and I don't want to give it away, and it's from probably older stuff that I saw. But you're married, right?
Yes.
And you have a special name for your wife.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Mrs. Bob.
I just love it.
Well,
I
thank you.
didn't want to give it away, and I wanted you to do it because I sat there and my jaw just dropped. I thought, oh my God. I bet you a lot
Yeah,
of women. I bet you a lot of women don't like that joke.
some they don't mention it to me. My wife has told me.
That's because
My
they're
wife
not
has told
talking to you, Mister
right.
Bob.
Well,
What's your
they talk
wife's
to
name?
her,
What's
right,
your
and they
wife's
say,
name, Mrs. Bob?
"Does that offend you that he's,
Yeah,
taking your
yeah.
first name away?" And she says, "No, I think it's great. I mean,
Does
it's
your wife laugh at it?
oh yeah, she's terrific."
Do you have some other material you want to? You can do some material if you want. If you don't want to, that's fine too.
No, no, it's fun. It's I mean it's fun. Uh,
I
it's
just
fun
thought that was
being
cool. I thought that was really funny.
well. I'm glad. Yeah. Well, we I mean we've been married 34 years.
Okay.
And we're uh, we're looking forward. I'm already planning for our diamond anniversary.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
if
because I do
look,
plan
if
to
you're
take
running
her. I
short of
do.
time, it looks like are you running short of time? Do you need to get
No,
going? Okay.
I'm fine.
Oh no, okay. I just if you got to get going, but no, I just thought that, and if you want to, just mention anything you want to mention. We talked about the shows that you're putting on. You mentioned the show coming up with my buddy Steve Goldberg.
Right.
Anything you want
Yeah.
to mention? Again, I'm going to put the links to all your Facebook, Instagram, everything that you have,
Right.
and just anything you want to tell the people at this point, and then we'll get your comedy minute, and I'll let you get going.
Well, my all of my handles are really easy. On Facebook, it's Bob Grundfest, and on
Yeah.
Instagram, it's Bob Grundfest. So, so
Okay.
I've made it sinfully easy to do
Yeah.
that. The YouTube channel will be available soon, but I think
Okay.
I'm probably going to make that Bob Grunfest. So
You know what? It's kind of like they're all called your comedy minute. That's kind of the. It amazes
that's
me how
it,
many comedians out there have like seven different titles, and I
right?
think to myself, "What are you, son? Or did you take a foul tip as a youngster? What happened to
Yes,
you?"
that's right.
Over here
So
you're this name and then this name and trying to put it all together when I'm putting these interviews together. I'm like, what's your thing on Instagram? What's your thing on Twitter? What's your thing on
right.
I think you do have a Twitter too. I saw your Twitter.
Yeah, I have a Twitter oh, I think that's RI Grunfest. I think I did that one
I don't know, and
with
and
the
you don't now that I mentioned it, but what'll happen is, hey, don't put the Twitter on there.
I haven't really. I mean,
No,
ever
I mean,
since
I did. You'd be surprised. I just went through a fiasco last night with a comedian who, I did the premiere, and then the full interview goes the next day at 7 o'clock. At like six
right.
o'clock, it's like, oh, don't do this. I'm like, I just did one the other day where he's worried. I sent him the video, and a half hour later, hey, my wife wants you to cut this and cut this. Okay. So whatever we got
No.
to cut, whatever we got to do, I try
All
to
right.
accommodate. I don't put anything on the air without the person's approval.
No, that's great. So those are my social media handles. That's where I
Okay.
publicize all of my shows.
And
I have some shows
you plan
coming
on
up, and we
continuing to do stand up now full time?
well, I mean, technically, I am doing it full time.
No,
I mean,
I
like I
mean.
said, I
In other words,
retired
you
from
you just
teaching.
foresee keep going,
Yeah, I
especially if
hey,
you
I'm
just had your
looking.
best show 2 weeks ago, right?
Well, yeah, I mean that's where it all came together, and I'm trying to do more of the different auditions and mics in front of people who are booking shows. So I've been able to do that, and if I get I mean the point is to get booked on shows, and obviously we're booking shows and things like that so that we can promote uh, newer comics. But Steve and I also appear on the shows. We host or we do do a short set and things like that. So it's fun. It's nice. I mean, that's the whole point, is to make people laugh and
Well, if there,
have a,
that's my thing. I just want to bring
that's
joy to
it.
people's lives. Bob Grunfest, your comedy minute. Go ahead, my friend.
I remember this a couple of years ago. I had some discomfort, and so I
I
got
love
I,
discomfort, Bob.
I had some discomfort. Yes, so I went to the
Okay.
doctor, and they gave me a stress test and all those other kinds of things, and they said, you really should go to the hospital and get some more tests, and so they wanted me to go in the rescue squad. So when they call the rescue squad, the police come too. So in the meantime, I went from the building to my car in the parking lot, and all of a sudden the ambulance comes and the police car comes, and they said, you have to move out of the way, we're here to pick somebody up. I said, well, you're probably here to pick me up. And the policeman looked really upset, like, what do you mean? I said, well, if you want me to lay down in the parking lot and then you can pick me up, that's what I mean. Are you expecting a dead person? What are you? So he wasn't really expecting who I was. So I had to go back into the office. They wheeled everything upstairs rather than doing it all in the parking lot. They go
Are
upstairs,
you
and,
kidding me?
and they put me in the ambulance, and we're rolling along. Actually went past the school where I was teaching with everything, and we get to the hospital, and it's raining, and they're at the wrong door. But they take me out. They take me out, and it's rain, like freezing rain. It's February. It's freezing rain on me. So not only am I experiencing discomfort, but now I'm getting wet. And then rather than put me back in, they rolled me across the parking lot, which was gravel. It's gravel. I'm graveling there. How are you?
That discomfort is getting up. Oh my God.
I said, now that discomfort is number two. the the bigger discomfort is this roll through the gravel pit.
Yeah.
So they finally get me there, and
Okay.
I'm wet and shaken up and everything like that. But I thought, well, somebody could have done a better job with
You
that. And then of
think?
course it was another couple of hours before anybody saw me anyway, so I had a
Yeah.
chance to. So,
Well, thank God you're here to tell that story. That's a funny story.
yeah, that was
A
that was
comedy of
unique.
errors.
Right,
A comedy of errors.
right.
Well, Bob,
So
I had a wonderful time. I hope you did too.
yes, it was wonderful. Thank you
And
very
listen,
much.
let me stop the recording so we can talk for a minute off the air. If you'd like, well, because it seems to me like you're just peaking. I'll have you on in a couple months and we'll see how you're doing.
Great. That'd be great. I'd love to
Okay.
come back.
Very cool. Very cool. And of
Terrific.
course, we'll talk about the clubs and anything else you want to talk about, buddy.
I appreciate that.
Let me
Thank you so
stop the
much.
recording so we can talk for a minute off the air.
Okay.
Thanks again.